When God is preparing to release a blessing into your life, He rarely begins with something loud or dramatic. Instead, He often starts with subtle spiritual signals, quiet movements in your heart, gentle shifts in your atmosphere, and inner awakenings that only your spirit can truly recognize. These signals may not always look supernatural on the surface, but they carry a divine fingerprint that sets them apart from everyday feelings or thoughts. It is God's way of saying, "Get ready, I am moving." And although the signs are subtle, they become powerful when you learn to discern them. One of the first signals is an unusual stirring within your spirit. You may find yourself feeling more sensitive to God's presence, more aware of His voice, and more alert to spiritual things. You begin to sense that something bigger is happening beneath the surface, even if your circumstances haven't changed yet. This stirring can feel like anticipation, restlessness, or a deep desire for growth. It's as though God is pulling your heart forward, preparing you for a blessing that requires a higher level of faith, maturity, or obedience. This inner stirring is not random. It is heaven's way of preparing your spirit before your blessing manifests in the natural. Another subtle signal is a shift in your desires and priorities. What once satisfied you no longer does. What once felt comfortable now feels too small. You begin to lose interest in old habits, old environments, and old mindsets. It's not that you are ungrateful for what you have. It's that God is expanding you internally before He expands your life externally. He begins reshaping your desires to align with the blessing He is getting ready to release. Sometimes you will find yourself drawn to prayer more than usual, hungry for the word, longing for clarity, seeking peace, or craving deeper intimacy with God. This is not emotional fluctuation. This is preparation. You may also notice divine nudges, small impressions in your spirit that push you towards certain actions or decisions. God may place a person on your heart suddenly, highlight a scripture repeatedly, or bring a specific thought to your mind over and over again. These nudges seem gentle, but they carry direction. They are whispers from God guiding you step by step, preparing you to stand in the right place at the right time for the blessing He is about to release. Sometimes the signs appear through your circumstances. Doors that were once shut begin to open slightly. Conversations occur unexpectedly. Opportunities show up without your effort. Or things start aligning in ways you could not orchestrate yourself. Even small coincidences begin to feel purposeful. These moments are God's signals showing you that He is arranging things on your behalf. Discernment is key because God's subtle signals often require spiritual sensitivity rather than physical sight. You must lean into prayer, lean into patience, and lean into trust. When these gentle signs appear, it means God is actively preparing something in your life. These signals are not to be ignored because they indicate that heaven has already begun its work in your story. When God is preparing to bless you, one of the clearest and most consistent signs is that your season of testing suddenly intensifies. The pressure increases, challenges seem to multiply, and situations that once felt manageable now feel heavier than before. This is not because God is abandoning you. It is because He is strengthening what must be strong, stretching what must expand, and refining what must be purified before the blessing can be entrusted to you. A blessing is not simply a gift. It is a responsibility. And God ensures your spirit is prepared to carry what He is about to release. This intensified testing often appears in areas where you least expect it. Sometimes relationships grow tense, resources feel limited, or the path you thought was clear becomes confusing. At other times, emotions feel heightened and old insecurities resurface. It may seem as though everything is resisting you, but spiritually, something very different is happening. God is training you. He is building resilience, maturity, and spiritual authority within you. Just as heat refines gold, the increased pressure refines your faith. What feels like opposition is often preparation. What feels like delay is often development. God does not test you to break you, but to build you, so the blessing can rest securely upon your life without shaking you. Many people pray for blessings but are unaware that blessings require strength, character, and capacity. Before God elevates you, He ensures you will not crumble at the new level. This is why the testing comes right before breakthrough. The enemy may try to use these tests to discourage you, but God uses them to shape you. What feels like spiritual warfare is often the final stage of God's preparation. The closer the blessing gets, the more intense the battle feels. It is the spiritual equivalent of the final push before birth. The moment when everything in you is stretched because something new is about to emerge. You may begin to notice that situations which once didn't bother you now test your patience. Tasks that were once easy now require extra effort. Doors that were once open seem to close. Even your emotions may feel stretched. But this is not failure. This is transition. The testing season is a spiritual indicator that the old chapter is ending and a new one is being formed. God is removing what cannot go with you into your next season. He is closing certain doors because He is opening better ones. He allows certain people to exit your life because the blessing requires a new circle, a new mindset, and a new level of focus. During this intensified testing, faith becomes your anchor. God is not punishing you, He is positioning you. The pressure you feel is a sign of proximity. You are not being pushed down, you are being pushed forward. If the battle has grown heavier, it means the blessing is drawing nearer. The intensity is evidence that heaven is moving and that you are standing at the edge of a divine breakthrough. When God is preparing to bless you, one of the most noticeable signs is a deep sense of divine discomfort. This is not the kind of discomfort that comes from fear or anxiety, but a spiritual uneasiness that gently pushes you away from what is familiar and toward what is destined. God often disrupts your comfort. When He is shifting you into a new season, you may begin to feel that the place you once felt secure, it no longer fits who you are becoming. Conversations feel different. Routines no longer satisfy you. And the life that once felt stable now feels too small. This discomfort is God's way of loosening your grip on the old so He can position you for the new. This divine discomfort can manifest in many ways. Sometimes it feels like a holy restlessness stirring inside you, urging you to grow, to move, to change, or to seek more of God. You may wake up feeling like something is shifting spiritually, even if you cannot see the physical evidence yet. Other times, situations that were once easy become difficult. Relationships that used to bring peace now feel strained. Opportunities that once flowed begin to dry up. When God is realigning your life, He often makes the old paths feel uncomfortable because He is calling you to step onto new ground. There are seasons when God closes doors not because you did something wrong, but because He is preparing you for a door that leads to your blessing. The discomfort is not punishment, it is preparation. God does not want you to settle in a place that cannot hold the blessing He intends to release. So He stirs your spirit, shakes your surroundings, and allows certain things to shift so you cannot stay where you are. Divine discomfort is heaven's way of saying, I have more for you. In this period, you may feel drawn to make changes you never considered before. You may sense God urging you to let go of certain habits, detach from certain people, or walk away from environments that no longer support your growth. This can feel painful because letting go is never easy, but it is necessary. What God is preparing to bless you with cannot be received in a place that limits your spiritual capacity. The discomfort is meant to move you out of alignment with anything that holds you back and into alignment with everything God has prepared for you. Often, this discomfort brings clarity. You begin to see what no longer belongs in your life. You recognize patterns that drain your energy. You discern people who do not support your purpose. You notice the difference between what feels comfortable and what feels God ordained. This clarity is a gift guiding you step by step away from old systems and into divine timing. When God is about to bless you, He does not allow you to remain settled in places that cannot sustain your future. The shift may feel uncomfortable, but it is a sign that God is moving you into a greater dimension, preparing your heart and positioning your life for what He is about to release. When God is preparing to bless you, one of the most powerful signs you will experience is a sudden rise in spiritual clarity and inner peace. This does not always come through dramatic visions or thunderous revelations. More often, it arrives quietly, like a gentle light entering a dark room. Situations that once confused you begin to make sense. Thoughts that once felt scattered become focused. Decisions that seemed overwhelming suddenly feel simple because your spirit becomes aligned with God's direction. This clarity is not born from human reasoning. It is a spiritual knowing that settles deep inside your heart, guiding you toward the blessing that is coming. You may begin to notice that your inner world feels calmer, even if your outer world has not changed yet. This is one of the most profound signs. God often speaks to His children, not through the noise around them, but through the peace within them. When breakthrough is near, God brings a supernatural stillness that cannot be explained by circumstances. You may still be facing challenges, but your heart feels anchored. You may still have unanswered questions, but your spirit feels steady. This peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of God whispering, I am with you and I am working. This clarity can manifest through a heightened awareness of God's voice. Scriptures seem to speak louder. Prayer feels deeper. Your intuition becomes sharper. You may begin to discern what is right and what is wrong with greater precision. People's intentions become clearer. Opportunities feel easier to evaluate because God is illuminating the path beneath your feet. This inner clarity is not something you force. It is something God gives when He is guiding you toward a blessing that requires accuracy and sensitivity. He removes confusion because confusion can cause hesitation, and hesitation can cause you to miss the timing of your blessing. There are times when God clears your mind of unnecessary noise. You suddenly lose interest in distractions that used to consume your energy. The desire for worldly approval fades, and the need for spiritual alignment grows stronger. This is because God is preparing your heart to hear Him more clearly than anyone else. He simplifies your focus so you can recognize His leading without interference. What once caused emotional chaos now feels irrelevant because your spirit is moving to a higher place of understanding. As this clarity grows, you may also find yourself receiving unexpected insights. Problems you struggled with for months suddenly reveal solutions. Decisions you postponed now feel obvious. You begin sensing the right time to move, the right people to trust, the right opportunities to pursue. God sharpens your discernment so you will not mistake the blessing for a burden or confuse distraction with destiny. This clarity acts as a spiritual compass, ensuring that every step you take draws you closer to what He has prepared. Inner peace and clarity are gifts right before the blessing arrives. They signal that heaven is aligning your heart, mind, and spirit with His purpose, ensuring you are ready for the next season He is about to unfold. When God is preparing to bless you, He never releases the blessing without first preparing every part of your life to receive it. This preparation is not random. It is intentional, strategic, and deeply spiritual. God prepares your heart, your surroundings, and your spirit so that when the blessing arrives, it does not overwhelm you, slip through your hands, or fall into a place that cannot sustain it. A blessing is not just an event, it is a divine assignment. And before that assignment enters your life, God makes sure the foundation is strong. One of the first ways God prepares you is by working on your heart. He begins reshaping your character, deepening your humility, strengthening your patience, and aligning your desires with His will. The blessing you are praying for may be big, but your heart must be even bigger to carry it. Sometimes He corrects attitudes, heals wounds, exposes hidden motives, or refines your thinking. This inner preparation may feel uncomfortable, but it is necessary. God knows that an unprepared heart can sabotage a prepared blessing. So He transforms you from within until you are ready to walk into the next level. God also prepares your surroundings. You may notice people leaving your life unexpectedly or certain connections fading. This is not rejection. It is divine pruning. Some people cannot go with you into your next season because their presence would limit your blessing or distract you from your purpose. You may also notice God bringing new people into your life. Mentors, encouragers, helpers, and destiny connections. These are individuals who will support, strengthen, and uplift you in the season you are about to enter. God aligns your environment so the blessing has room to grow. Another way God prepares you is by rearranging circumstances. Delays, detours, and shifts may occur, but these are not signs of failure. They are signs of divine setup. God uses circumstances to guide you into the right position at the right time. He may close certain opportunities, so you will wait for the one that is truly meant for you. He may redirect you from a path that looks promising but leads nowhere. Every shift in your circumstances is part of God's larger plan to ensure you are standing exactly where the blessing will fall. Your spirit is also prepared during this time. God deepens your faith, increases your sensitivity to His voice, and strengthens your spiritual endurance. You begin relying more on Him and less on yourself. You pray differently, listen more attentively, and discern more accurately. God sharpens your spirit so you can recognize the blessing when it comes and steward it with wisdom. A prepared spirit cannot be shaken by storms, discouraged by delays, or distracted by trials. When all these preparations occur together, your heart transforming, your surroundings shifting, your circumstances aligning, and your spirit strengthening, it is a sign that God is setting the stage. He is arranging every detail so the blessing He is about to release will flourish, not fail.